I believed in God for as long as I can remember, but I didn't live for God for most of that time. I grew up going to church, knew that Jesus had died for my sins, but I thought in addition to being kind and loving to everyone else, that was all he wanted from me. For most of my life, up through high school, I did my best to be kind and forgiving to others, but I lived my life for myself, the way I wanted to, and not the way God wanted me to. Finding happiness and fulfillment from my friends, playing sports, and when I wasn't doing the other two, video games. I had created an identity around these activities, but none of them gave me lasting satisfaction or fullness that I was looking for. I didn't want to confront it, but slowly I came to the realization that I felt I was missing purpose in my life. That what I was doing wasn't meaningful and left me feeling empty. But God was working in my life, and I wound up going to college at UW-Stevens Point, and when you know it, I heard about Cru the first week and decided to go. This was the first time that I was exposed to such a big and friendly, loving group of Christ followers. It was a rekindling of my faith, and within weeks I learned for the first time that I could have a personal relationship with God. From then on until last year, my understanding of what God wants for me grew along with my faith in Him. At this point, though, I didn't acknowledge it at the time, I was still trying to control my life. I no longer found my identity in friends, sports, or video games, though I still enjoy them. But when opportunities came to go to events that I could grow with my relationship with God, I reasoned myself out of doing them. I felt content with not going because going to those events were ways out of my comfort zone. I wanted to lead my life, but I also wanted to keep one hand on the wheel while He was driving. But boy, am I glad God gets His way, because this past year, my 5th year, and last year in college, I had some subtle feelings in me to consider going to Fall Getaway, which is a weekend away with speakers and worship and a lot of fun. I thought, hey, it's only a weekend, sounds like it could be fun, because I'd never been to any of them before. As the date to sign up got closer, I was leaning towards not going. But that crew, the next crew, I ended up winning the door prize that week, which was a discount to go to Fall Getaway. So at that point I said, all right, I guess I'll go. So of course it was wonderful, and I learned and I grew a lot in that short period of time. But 2 things stood out for me from those talks. The first one being the call to testify. And the second was the question, what are things that I wouldn't let go of? I started to become aware of the control that I was trying to maintain in my life, and how my efforts to not be uncomfortable were conflicting with the call to share the gospel with others. This led me to the decision to go to Cru Winter Conference. This is a 5-day event full of worship, teaching, and a day of outreach held in Minneapolis. I really wanted God to open my eyes and speak to me, because I was finally ready to listen to Him and be vulnerable. And to say He delivered would be an understatement. After one of the last talks, I asked the prayer leader in the back through tears to ask God to do whatever He wanted with my life. I had finally let go. It was a freeing experience because I no longer held anything back, and I was all in. I didn't want to miss out what God had wanted for me any longer, and He brought me closer to Him in that moment than I'd ever been with Him in my life. God was patient with me my entire life, and He showed me grace when I neglected His will for me. And even though I was distant, He pulled me closer. His love never wavered. Since Winter Conference, I worked to set aside my fear of being uncomfortable and went on the Cru trip to Salt Lake City, where we shared with college students, We shared our faith with college students, and it was the first time I shared the gospel in depth with strangers before. Being that far outside my comfort zone challenged me greatly, but I knew that I was growing much more through it all. I placed my trust in God, that no matter what I was doing or how far from home I went, He would always be with me no matter what. Though stepping outside my comfort zone may be something that I always work on, God has showed me that when I put my faith in Him, He can use me to do glorious things, be a part of bringing His children closer to Him. I'll leave you all with a passage from Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. If any of my story has resonated with you, or you just want to talk, feel free to find me after Cru. Thank you.